This is Robert Plank, and let's automatically back up your self-hosted WordPress blog to Google Drive. We're going to use WordPress, we'll use a plugin called Backup Creator, and then we'll use Google Drive, which gives you a few gigabytes of storage for free at drive.google.com. If you already have a Gmail account, you already have an account there, but drive.google.com is Google's version of Dropbox, Carbonite, Amazon S3, any of those services if you've used them. So we're going to be using this plugin here called Backup Creator. We'll install it on our existing WordPress blog, so I'm assuming that you have that as well. So in this blog here, we have the Backup Creator plugin already installed. And what we'll do is you go over to Tools, Backup Creator, and then here's where you would normally back up a site, but we can go to the Settings tab here, and we can say I want to automatically back up, every week, every Sunday or something. And then we scroll down and here's the Google Drive backup. So you check this and then it gives us these 10 steps, which at first glance look really scary, but luckily they're all very easy steps. The only thing is that we're going to see a little bit of unfamiliar terminology and a couple of unfamiliar screens, but I'll walk you exactly through it. So these instructions are built right into the Backup Creator plugin. Once again, go to the Settings tab, scroll down, check Google Drive Backup, and then follow these 10 steps right here. So here's what it's going to have us do is it is going to have us log into this thing called the Google Developer Console. We'll create a project and enable the Drive API, so that will allow us to have that project use your Google Drive. And then we'll go to credentials and make an OAuth web application. What do any of those things mean? You don't need to worry about that. Just recognize if you see credentials, OAuth, or web application, we're going to click on those things as we see them. Then we'll click through a thing called the consent screen. So basically when you go and some websites, like the first time you use it, it says Google would like your permission to use Backup Creator, or Backup Creator would like access to Google Drive, and that is what that is. And then we'll be copying a web address, a URL from Backup Creator over to Google Drive, and then we'll be copying a thing called a client ID and a client secret from Google back to WordPress, save it all, test it out. So once again, a lot of weird terms, but we're going to do this in video and this will all make sense in a second. So the exact steps I'm about to take is I will first click over to the Google Developer Console. And the link to that, it's linked in the plugin, but we're going to console.developers.google.com. We'll go to, and we'll click on Go to Project and create a project. We'll name it Backup Creator. We'll go to the Drive API and click on a blue Enable button. We'll go to create a client ID and go to credentials, add credentials, and then choose OAuth client ID. You don't need to know what that means, just know to click on it. We'll click on through to configure the consent screen, and the only thing we have to set on that screen is a thing called a product name, which again is Backup Creator. We'll choose an application type, set it to web application, and name it Backup Creator, and then copy a web address from your blog over to Google, and then copy a thing called a client ID and a client secret from Google also back to your WordPress blog. So it looks like a lot of steps, but it's really not. It's really easy once we get rocking and rolling here. So we're here in our Backup Creator tab, and once again, Settings, then Google Drive Backup. And right now, and at the bottom here, what we're building towards is we want to have something filled into this client ID and this client secret. Right now they're blank. So if you don't see all this stuff, what you have to do is go to Google Drive, check this box, all this appears. Google Developer Console. Click on that, and we're looking for this top right drop down. Mine says go to project. Yours might say something else, probably not, but we go to this drop down, go to project here, create a project. This pops up, project name, type in Backup Creator, click create. So that was step number 1, And step number 2, now we've created what's called a project and it's named Backup Creator. The next thing we want to do is enable the Google Drive API. So when I click back to Google, we're looking for a link that says Drive API. We'll click in there and then we'll click Enable. So I'll go here. So now we can see in the top drop down we're using the Backup Creator project we made. Then go here to Drive API. So left click on that, go over here, a bunch of stuff, ignore it all, click on Enable. All right, so while that's enabling, it'll just take a second. We're going to go to the sidebar, Credentials, Create Credentials, and then choose OAuth Client ID. So now it's created. Click Credentials, and then Create Credentials. All these weird choices. We want OAuth Client ID. Okay. Next, click Configure Consent Screen. And then under product name shown to users, enter Backup Creator. Go back here, configure consent screen. Don't fill out anything else other than product name shown to users, and it will be Backup Creator. Scroll down and click Save. Next, step 7, in the home stretch. We have an application type. We want to set that to Web Application and name it also Backup Creator. So here are all these choices: application type, web application, and the name here is Backup Creator. Don't save it just yet because now we want to copy an authorized web address, this thing in the gray. We want to copy it over. So it's really important that we click, highlight, hold down, and select the whole entire thing. Right click and copy. Then go back here, skip authorized JavaScript. Don't fill this one in. Fill in this bottom one. Fill in authorized redirect URIs. So we'll go click on this, right click and paste. All right, so there's that whole thing. And then click create. And then here it added it, and now it popped up this thing called a client ID and a client secret. So let's see what the final instruction is here. It's to copy the client ID and the client secret from that tab in Google and paste them both into the appropriate boxes, here for client ID, here for secret, in your Backup Creator settings. So here we go, it popped this up and it gives us a thing called a client ID, and see there's this icon here to copy, so just click on that. Great, now it's copied. Back to Backup Creator, client ID, right click and paste. Okay, now here is your client secret, and then click on this one, copied. Go back to client secret, right click and paste. Okay, great, and we can just click on connect, and it should ask us to give us permission to use Google Drive. I would like to allow that. So click allow, and then it will send us back to our Backup Creator settings. So Backup Creator settings, Google Drive is now enabled, and both of these things are filled in here. So there's nothing else left to do other than to run a backup and see if it worked. So what we can do here is, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to drive.google.com, and then I'll make sure that this last modified here is, I click it and make sure it's pointing down, that way it's showing the newest stuff first. And then we'll just go to the bottom here and say save and backup now, and let it run the backup of our site here. So it's created the database, created the zip file, and now it is uploading this file. And just to make sure we're looking for the right, oh, and it's already done, but to make sure we're looking for the right one, we're looking for a zip file with that ends in 618. Switch back to Google Drive, and you see how it's already created, it just now created a folder called Backup Creator, okay? And it also made this file, and I have to kind of hover over it, but it ends in 618. So now we know that it successfully ran the backup and it uploaded it to Google Drive, and I can always right click and download it, or I can use it to restore from another site. So let me show you that one more time. We will go to the Backups tab, and all we have to do is just say backup this site, and it also is backing up to Google Drive. So click on backup this site again and let this run. So it'll only take a couple of seconds, and it's creating the backup, and it is. Oops, it looks like I accidentally unchecked Google Drive backup. So let me save and back that up again. All right. So now we're running it again just to make sure. So at the moment, there's only just that one backup ending in 618. And then you see how just before our eyes, the newest backup ending in 756 appeared here. And it's as big as it should be. We switch back and we see that it saved that backup ending in 756 over to Google Drive. So a few things to look at there, but I hope that it made a lot more sense now that we walked through it. We went to the Google Developer Console, create a project, enable Drive API, go and add an OAuth and web application credentials, set the consent screen, copy a web address from Backup Creator to Google Drive, and then copy the client ID and client secret from Google back to Backup Creator, save it all, and test. So I'm Robert Plank, and that was how to automatically back up your self-hosted WordPress blog to Google Drive. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope that helped. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and set those automatic backups to Google Drive. And one final thing, as we showed you in the settings tab, the automatic backup, you can set this to run weekly, daily, hourly, at whatever day, whatever time you want. And this backup will run and then send it off to Google Drive every single day, every single week, whatever. So automatic backup plus Google Drive backup, pretty good solution for some offsite backups there. So I'm Robert Plank from backupcreator.com. Go ahead and automatically backup to Google Drive using Backup Creator Ultimate. Thanks a bunch and bye.